Not quite a believer in the so-called Mandela Effect, the quantum awakening? Well, we have some celebrity name changes that's bound to have you scratching your head. But first, today we mourn the loss of Trailer Park Boys star John Dunsworth, who is dead at 71. The Trailer Park Boys star who played Jim LaHaye on the show and is also known for his work on the sci-fi series Haven died after suffering an unknown illness. His daughter and co-star, Sarah, announced in a statement via social media on Monday. With heavy and broken hearts, the family of John F. Dunsworth would like to let people know that our amazing husband, father, and grandfather, John Dunsworth, has passed away. John left the world peacefully after a short and unexpected illness. The family would like to request that our privacy is respected during this time of grief. And of course, our thoughts and prayers go out to the family of John Dunsworth. Welcome to Unbiased and On the Fence. I'm Shane. Well, we have celebrity name changes, but make sure you add this to your watch later list so you can ask your friends what they remember with these celebrity names. I'm going to put them up on the screen here for a second if you want to be able to pause it later. This is going to be 2 pages, so the first page is here and the second page is here if you want to pause it. So a big thank you to Carey T. Winters of Mandela Effect's researchers for sending this over to Unbiased and On the Fence. I do really appreciate it. First up on the list is Christopher Reeves, which is now Christopher Reeve. Now, I've got a memory note on this one specifically because a couple of years ago, I created a shirt for someone with the last name Reeves. And here's what it looks like. And at the time, I remember wondering if this person was related to Christopher Reeves or Keanu Reeves. Then I remember wondering if Keanu Reeves and Christopher Reeves may be related themselves. So I checked Keanu Reeves' name, and of course it hasn't changed. But I do remember Christopher Reeves. Of course, many have already heard about Sally Fields, is now Field. Steven Seagal is now spelled S-E-A-G-A-L. Joel Osteen, we've talked about this one before, it's now Osteen. Joyce Myers, now Meyer. I actually went to the same church Joyce Myers went to. It's called Life Church, just outside of St. Louis, Missouri. Lionel Richie. Now for me, the new way looks more familiar, so I'm not really sure about this one myself. But Gilbert Godfrey, it's spelled Godfrey now. Now that's pretty funny, but I remember it was definitely Godfrey. Will Farrell is now missing an R. Julia Childs, missing an S. Jim and Tammy Baker, the hosts of the PTL show. If you guys remember the PTL Club, I actually visited that as a kid in the 80s with my mom and sister, and it was definitely Baker with 1 K. Now apparently it has 2 Ks. Reba McEntire. Now this one for me is strange. The new way is strange, but the way they have it here in the old way, I believe it might have even had it might have been MAC here, but I can't be sure. Charles Schultz, Dan Akroyd. This is definitely one I notice is strange. Gordon Ramsay is now Ramsay. Here's one I've also seen around. Andrew Zimmerman is now Andrew Zimmerman. Shannon Doherty is now Shannon with an E-N. Here's one that I noticed on my own, I don't know, probably about a month ago, and I actually emailed Deb from Butterfly Effect, and I'm like, hey, didn't Jim Carrey's name have 1 R in it? You know, and she wasn't really sure. I'm like, man, it looks so funny with the 2 R's, I'm sure of it. But I remember watching this video a couple of months ago, and his name was spelled right here with 1 R. Also, in the name of the video, it was spelled with 1 R. And this wasn't re-uploaded again. This is the same exact video I watched, and now it has an extra R in there. How strange and bizarre is that? It just changed miraculously. So as we move from Jim Carrey, we go to Axl Rose. It's now spelled AXL. Barbara Streisand is now spelled Barbara, like this. Now, when I first came across this one about 6 months ago, and I saw that, I'm like, well, that's how Barbara Walters spells her name. So I look it up, and guess what? Barbara Walters now spells her name Barbara. It's like they switched the spellings of their names. How weird is that? Freddie Prinze Jr. now has a Z. Courtney Cox is now Courtney Cox. Des Arnaz is now Arnaz. Bob Seger. Nicolas Cage. You know, both of these look right to me. I guess I've seen his name. But what about Snuffleupagus? You guys remember how that was spelled? I thought it was F's, but I can't be really sure about that one. Now what about Spike, which is now Stripe, and he's the gremlin from the movie The Gremlins. How do you all remember that? Leanne Rimes, sure seems like it had the H to me, but can't be really sure. John Edwards now does not have an S on the end. Sylvia Brown now has an E. Brendan Fraser lost an I, it looks like, in the spelling. Sean Astin, now Aston. Salma Hayek is now Salma. Paula Deen is now spelled with a double E. And Alec Trebek is now Alex. Now, for me, I don't really know. I didn't watch Jeopardy that much, but my wife watched it a lot, and she says she remembers it always being Alex. So I can't really say on that myself. It's interesting. It led me back to this clip of Jim Carrey, which I found to be pretty interesting here. Check it out.
Not one single thing has ever been accomplished without intention. So I started thinking about my life, and I started thinking about this conference and what we're about, and I looked back and I thought, well, I was two people my whole life. I was in the living room entertaining people, being a monkey, you know, doing my thing for the company, and trying to relieve my mother, who was suffering. She had rheumatoid arthritis and phlebitis and everything under the sun that was nagging at her, and she was depressed. And I wanted her to be free. And I wanted her to realize that her life was worth something because she gave birth to someone who was worth something. And then I would go into my room and I would sit with a legal pad. I was a little kid. And I would sit there and I would try to figure out what it meant, what it was all about. Why are we here? What is this? And one day I read something from Buddha that said that all spirituality is about relieving suffering. And I suddenly realized that's what I'm doing in the other room. and I'm aligned. You know, my purpose is aligned with this. So I felt incredibly lucky. I lose sight of that all the time. I get caught up in different concerns and ego concerns. But I'm so lucky to be a part of this community and to do something that is of value. And I really cherish that. And we are all one thing. It really is true. Can I speak to the person in the last row, in the very last seat against the wall? Is there someone back there that can say hello? Hi. What's your name? Andrea. Andrea, are you aware that, do you have the distinct, palpable feeling that your intention created this evening, as well as Melissa's? Do you understand that all of this entire event is happening inside you? We'll just try to feel it for a second, because it's a trip, man. Some people go to the Super Bowl. I am the Super Bowl, man. I swear. My friends are all going, did you see that play? That was great. I'm like, yeah, but the energy coming out of me right now, man, is unbelievable. I'm just sitting there. I'm the stadium. I'm the vendors outside. I'm the crack dealer on the corner. I'm everything, man. There's no end to it, and it's so much fun. It's so much fun. So I hope you can feel that, and I hope you understand that you are one of the creators of this evening, that your intentions and your desires created this evening as well. And then I hope you are able to ask yourself, why did I get such a crappy seat? And be okay with it. I mean, you're in the last row, in the last seat. And yet you created this. And that's got to be, it's a really selfless thing to do.
And there we have it with Jim Carrey. Now you can see why when that came out, that these strange things he said on the red carpet came out, and he was in the news recently saying the things he said. I wasn't really surprised because I had seen this video a few months ago, and I knew where he was coming from, and I got it. So with that, I hope that inspirational message on the tail end of these celebrity name changes brightened your day, and have a good one. I'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you.